Howdy, y'all. Welcome to the EEARSS Podcast, produced by Terrier TV here at Titusville High School. I am Frank. That is Bill. That is Cindy. What's up, y'all? How's it going? I'm trying to make this clock work. It's like
You're failing.
I know. I press the button 8,000 times and it never gets back to me. It's like, I know you pressed this, but I'm not going to move whatsoever. Maybe so now it's 10 seconds behind where it actually is. I know it says 15, but it's actually 30, Bill.
Maybe the batteries are getting low. Maybe I need to look at replacing them.
Batteries?
Yeah, because somebody forgets to turn it off at the end of the show. And I don't see it for a couple of days. And then I turn it off. And that could have something to do with the batteries draining. Maybe not.
Remember this movie back in the day? It makes me think of batteries, called Short Circuit.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I haven't seen that in years, but I don't know why that made me think of it. In the other conversation we were just having, which we won't talk about again. But Short Circuit was a great movie.
I saw something about how somebody was talking about how that movie doesn't play as well nowadays.
A lot of movies don't.
Yeah, because of some of the dialogue.
That was Spielberg, yes? Was that a Spielberg movie?
No, I don't think so.
It wasn't? Okay.
I do not think so. But Johnny Five, yes.
Oh, yes. What was the name of that movie?
No, that was Short Circuit.
Oh, okay. What's the one I'm thinking about?
Batteries not included.
How'd you know what I was talking about?
I just knew.
Spielberg. Yeah.
Yeah, that was Spielberg.
No,
okay.
Short Circuit was a different movie.
Yeah, Short Circuit was pretty
That
jam
was the
up.
robot. Yeah,
that was cool where he smashed the grasshopper and got all upset and all that stuff.
Right,
Yeah.
yes, and got a, yep.
Yeah, it was a hopping robot. Yeah, I was thinking of in my mind, I was thinking of Batteries Not Included.
Weren't they they were relatively the same time period, right?
They
think so,
were
yeah.
within. I think Batteries Not Included came before Short Circuit by like a year or so.
Probably, yeah.
They were both late 80s, early 90s.
Uh-huh, yep.
I'd say 89, 91, somewhere around there. If I'm making a weird guess. I feel like I'm making a weird guess. Am I making a weird guess?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You're definitely making a
Gosh,
weird
Frank.
guess.
Yeah, okay. Are you guys ready to jump into the conversation with our guest that's sitting over here? Wondering what the heck we're talking about right now?
Sure, we could do that.
Are you ready?
I reckon I'm ready as I'll be.
All right, so today on the podcast, we are blessed to be joined by Charles Dion, who is an awesome fella and an intern with EEARSS. So, Charles, if you could please tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, and everything else about you would possibly think of to tell us.
All right, yeah.
Except your social security number and your mother's maiden name.
Okay.
Driver's license number, though,
Yeah,
yes, please do that.
Don't
Okay.
tell
What
us.
about my credit card number? Is that like a gray area?
Last-
You could give those to me.
Okay.
Last
that's it?
four,
Okay.
expiration date and the code in the back. That's
Okay.
all we need.
All right.
We need
That's all.
we need his zip code.
Not
Not
so
too
much.
much.
And the zip code, yes, and the zip code.
Yeah, we need the zip code. Yeah.
So my name is Charles Dion. I've lived all around. I was born in Scottsdale, Arizona, though. So I lived there for a couple years, and then I moved to D.C., and then I moved back to Tucson. And I lived there for a good amount of my life, moved to Ohio, and then went to college in Florida. So, like I said, I've been all around.
So which college in Florida?
So I went to a college named Beacon College. It's located in Leesburg, Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very small school. The mission of the school is to service students with disabilities, such as ADHD, dyslexia, and what I have, autism.
Okay.
That's
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
And so how did you find out about this school?
So when I was in Ohio, I had a bunch of different schools I was looking at. Some were in Ohio, but a large amount were in Florida. I looked at Eckerd, I looked at Nova, Southeastern. I had a lot of ones that I was interested in. Also, as I'd mentioned, in Ohio, there was Muskingum University, but I just didn't want to stay in Ohio. I really didn't. I was looking for every excuse to leave.
Now, was it the weather or?
For Ohio that I wanted to leave?
Yeah.
It's because it's Ohio. It's
Okay.
It's dreadful. The weather, there's nothing to do. My itinerary for the days were either look at the animals at the zoo or look at cornfields. So there's
There you
not
go.
a whole lot to do there.
So let me ask you,
Yeah.
by the 4th of July, how high should the corn be?
I could
You
get
see,
lost
you
in
didn't
it,
pay
you know?
attention. You didn't pay attention. My
My
buddies from
You didn't know
Ohio,
you'd be quizzed
they
on
all
that, did you?
Yeah.
they all know that. They're like, oh well, 4th of July, elephant's eye.
Mhm.
What?
Needs to be.
4th of July, elephant's eye.
Yeah, the corn should be as high as an elephant's eye.
I
How
don't
many
know how
elephants
high
are
an
walk-
elephant's
Yeah, how many
eye
elephants are
is.
walking around
What?
cornfields?
Ohio,
That is a
dude,
ridiculous
they got 'em
unit of
everywhere.
measurement.
Yeah, they got them everywhere, but if I paid
Elephants?
enough attention,
Elephants?
yeah.
Sure, ask Charles. He'll tell you.
They
Yeah.
were pretty large, but admittedly, like you pointed out, I wasn't paying too much attention to them. If I was, I probably would have stayed there. But
Wait, the
I
elephants
didn't.
or the corn? I'm so confused
Yes.
right now.
like the
Yeah,
height,
yes,
the
right.
height of the.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah. So I went to college in Leesburg, Florida. I majored in antherzoology, and I didn't know where I wanted to go exactly from there. I just knew that I wanted to work with animals because growing up, I had a lot of different interests. I wanted to be a detective at one point. I wanted to be in the political world, which would not have serviced me well, honestly. But when I was making the decision of where to go to college, I was pointed out, well, what was the very first thing that you wanted to do? And it always had something to do with animals. And so I majored in antherzoology, which is the study of human and animal relations. So I thought that was the perfect place to go. And it wasn't till I got there when I found my purpose, which was crocodilians. So, as I mentioned, I grew up in Arizona, but I was terrified of crocodilians. And there was a very simple reason. I watched Lake Placid at too young of an age. I was too young, and the same thing happened for Jaws. I hated crocs and sharks. I was petrified of them.
That's still this day a terrifying movie.
Jaws.
Yeah.
Jaws, yeah, that still gets you to this day.
Lake
It's
Placid
great.
too.
Oh, yeah.
They're fantastic movies. But it had such an effect on me where I thought I couldn't even go to my pool in Tucson, Arizona without getting swallowed up whole.
Yeah.
For you guys unfamiliar, Tucson is in the middle of Arizona in a desert. There's not going to be any crocodilians or sharks, but I never said I was a rational kid. So I was terrified. And when I came to Florida, I had the realization that they were not what I had perceived them to be, which were these man-eating, will attack you at any possible opportunity. If you get near the water, you're gator food.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was so adamant on
Cindy
what they
still
were.
believes that.
I have grown. Frank has
She
educated me.
has. Yeah. She's done much better. But at
Yeah.
one point, probably yes.
Yes.
No,
Oh,
that's
yes.
fair. Same.
Absolutely.
Same. And that was the biggest kind of thing that was steering me away from Florida, was the fact there was gators. But through realizing that wasn't the case, I realized just how uninformed that opinion was and how those stereotypes were just plaguing my perspective. And I have a fondness for misunderstood and misrepresented things. As I had mentioned, I'm an individual on the autism spectrum. So since then, I have been aspiring to be in the crocodilian field. So yeah, it's a little bit about myself.
Whenever you got out of college and you knew that was the like, this is my jam, tell us about the steps you made from there to end up to where you're at here now.
Sure. So throughout college, since I had mentioned, Beacon was a very small college, about 500 students at a given time. Very small. And I never had the opportunity to work with crocodilians as much as I wanted to. I went and interned at some fantastic places, including Duke Lemur Museum. And that was on the education side because my other passion is education as well. I aspire to teach one day. But I never got to do anything with crocodilians. And it was my senior year when I knew I wanted to go and further my education. I realized I need to pop this bubble that I'm in at this small school. So I started reaching out to people. Most emails didn't get a response, but I remember there were 3 people in particular who responded back to my email and agreed to an informative interview. And that was Dr. Matthew Shirley,
Who we've had on here before.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You've had all three of these on.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You've had Dr. Matthew Shirley. You've had Marion Boucher, which was pretty recently you guys have had on, and Dr. Marissa Tejas. Now, I got to have some informative interviews with them, and my school just recently got an alligator in their lab, and I was going to do my capstone on that. I was going to focus on looking into the educational benefits of using an American alligator as an animal ambassador. But there was some paperwork that happened that caused us to have to relocate the alligator to somewhere else, and when it got relocated to another facility, that facility put that alligator into a enclosure with a larger alligator, and unfortunately it passed away. And that happened 2 months before I was going to start my capstone. So I was kind of out of luck and grasping for straws, and it was Dr. Tejas who rescued me, honestly. So she offered to do a virtual internship because that was allowed for my capstone. I did a virtual internship with Dr. Tejas, and I had completed that, and I got closer to Dr. Tejas, and she encouraged me to talk more to some other people. I continued my friendship and everything with Marion Boucher. She encouraged me to attend PARMS, which is the Palmetto Alligator Research Management Symposium, back in March, and that was when I was able to meet fantastic people such as Dr. Thomas Rainwater of Clemson, Dr. Benjamin Parrott of University of Georgia, Dr. Christopher Murray of Southeastern Louisiana University. And through meeting those people, I got to stay in contact with them even after I graduated last May. And with this job market, I couldn't find anything, right? It is a dreadful, dreadful market at the moment. And when you're trying to focus on something specifically, such as a niche working with crocodilians, that was so almost implausible. And that was needed because I needed hands-on research before I can go and elevate my education. And I reached out to a bunch of different people, and Dr. Tejas recommended that I reach out to Frank. And so I sent him an email, kind of, be like, hey, this is who I am. I talked a little bit about myself. And looking back on it, I also sent a photo of me. I don't know if you ever saw the photo.
Oh, I did, yeah.
Yeah, I sent a photo of me with a 9-foot red-tail boa over my shoulders. And I was like, I haven't sent out a photo of myself to anyone else that I've been reaching out to, but this was before Frank shaved, still had the long beard. So I'm like, okay, I got a snake on my shoulders,
Yes.
a beard on my
He will
face.
accept me.
Yes, yeah, no, I'm like, this, I think this will be a good idea.
I've never heard this.
Yes.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Looking back, I probably look like a total Fruit Loop, as you would say, with this snake on my shoulders. Like, who is this dude reaching out to me? But I woke up the next day at like 8 a.m. to a call that just says Frank Robb. I'm like, the picture worked. Oh. And so we ended up talking. I'm like, I'd love to do something with you. I'd love to work. We talked about a couple of different stuff. And that was back in September. And we had planned to figure something out for the next research season. And when the next research season started, I came down from DC, which is where I was after I graduated, down to, of course, Titusville. And I've been working with Frank ever since.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about your first trip down. Your first trip down here. You're watching us work with alligators.
Mm-hmm.
You're sitting back. You're kind of taking it all in from a distance. Or you're watching me and Rebecca work at that point. Like, after having that fear, that you've worked on for a while and getting over that, and you see us there working with alligators. How did that make you feel? Like, what were the thoughts that were running through your head whenever you're there, you're watching us work?
Yeah, I think, so to provide a little perspective, you had me come down for 2 days before I moved down here. The reason for why that is because in case this was not, something I'm capable of doing, it'd be a terrible tragedy for me to move down to DC, feel like, oh, I can't do this, and then go back home.
Or you meet some people and you're like, I don't want to hang out with those people.
Yeah.
Like those are not my people.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. So
That was the more of the two, by the way. Yeah.
Well, I got a pretty good introduction to the people I was working with in those 2 days. So we go out and we catch an alligator, and it was amazing to see the process in this alligator right in front of me. Went to the Brevard Zoo, but before that, this is what I was talking about, that introduction. When we were going out, Frank jumped out of the car, and I'm like, is everything okay? Frank comes up to my window with a snake just holding out right in front of the window.
There was a snake out there. There was a big yellow rat snake crossing the road, yeah.
But it was fantastic. It was everything that I wanted and really needed to make progress in my career. It was the experience, hands-on, knowing what to do in the field, but as well as that, doing the lab work. It was everything I could have wanted, and I really enjoyed spending time with Rebecca, with you, all that stuff. I got the feeling, I'm like, these people are wacky. It's my type of people. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I ain't wacky, I ain't weird. I'm quite the opposite of that, and so I'm like, this is perfect.
Now tell us what has happened since then, because you had some big happenings that have happened here over the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
So tell everybody about that.
So coming down here, I had already submitted a couple of things for master's programs. I had already submitted those. I'd already submitted a proposal for the NSF GRFP as well. I was waiting to hear back from that, and I was just in a time of waiting because I submitted that stuff in November, and I wasn't going to hear back until April. And so I thought, get that experience. And I've been doing that. We've been catching alligators. I've been learning how to even build arrays as well, making snares, doing a whole bunch of stuff like that. I got to visit University of Georgia, which was a fantastic opportunity. But recently, I got an offer from Southeastern Louisiana University that did accept. That was for a master's program, and I was incredibly honored because it was an offer that was just way too good to refuse. It was like a full ride and a stipend, which I'm like, that's crazy. And so I am going to be working with Dr. Tyler Coleman and Dr. Christopher Murray, and I'm going to be doing work regarding alligators in Louisiana and crocodiles in Costa Rica, and really getting the opportunity to, push forward on my dreams, because I do aspire to be a professor in crocodilian ecology for the same reasons I hated education. And then I realized that I didn't hate education. I hated the way I was being taught. And so I need to further my education to be able to do that. And so through getting more experience, through all that stuff, I'm able to go to Louisiana, not just this weekend to go and tour there, but also in August. And I'm incredibly thrilled. So yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
What city is that in?
That's in Hammond.
Okay, in
Louisiana.
Hammond. Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome, buddy.
Yeah, no, it's
Pretty awesome stuff.
It's great. I'm gonna learn how to make a crawfish boil. So I'm pumped.
You should be.
Yeah.
You should just sit back, watch them do that, and just eat all the things. Let them work. Just sit back and know you're a fan of spicy.
Yes.
It'll be spicy.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna bring like a notepad and just take notes every single time. It's gonna be great.
Now you have an interesting background too, where you were actually a. Let me think of a correct way to describe this. In college, in your first college, you were a collegiate athlete. So you were actually
Yes.
you were a collegiate athlete at the school.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Start from the very beginning. Tell us about that, and there you go.
Okay. So when I went to college, I knew I wanted to create some form of club. And going into it, the club that I wanted to make was Movie Club, because I'm a big movie buff. I love movies. Star Wars, Lord of the Rings. I'm a huge fan of those stuff. But I found out that there was already a movie club. So I felt a little robbed because they didn't advertise it when I was going to the college. But I'm like, okay, I need to think of a new idea. And I thought of my pastime that I've been doing for it was 12 years at that point. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to create a club where it's students hitting each other with lightsabers. It was going to be the lightsaber dueling club.
I was waiting for him to say Quidditch. I was not disappointed to hear lightsabers.
There was already a Quidditch club, so I couldn't do that. Instead, I had to settle on hitting each other with lightsabers. Yeah. So
that's amazing.
I started it, and the first semester we only had like 8 people, and so it was pretty hard to do a tournament with 8 people. And I myself couldn't participate because I've been doing it for 12 years. I don't need I don't mean to boast or anything, but in the words of the people in the club, I was too good to be able to participate in the tournaments.
You're knocking people out.
Yeah, no, I had beaten someone who was a really good duelist with a 16-inch blade when he had a 32-inch blade. So like, I was pretty good. But I just wasn't allowed, and so I reffed for the tournaments, and that was fine because this was my passion, and I was showing it to other people. And over the span of 4 years, we had grown. Just the first semester was 8 people. The next semester was 64 students.
Wow.
64 students. And so at this time, we were using the athletics field, and a man named Kyle Close, who oversaw the athletics department, he came up, he's like, hey, because I had to reserve the athletics field. He's like, hey, Kyle, I want to do the athletics field again. Can I get that next year? He's like, about that, we need to have a conversation. I'm like, uh-oh, okay. I go up there, and he's like, hey, we've seen how many people you're pulling. We see that it's exercise. We want to put you under the official umbrella of fitness and athletics.
That's awesome.
Which means that if you sent your kid to this school, they could be a college athlete by beating each other with lightsabers. It was great.
What color lightsaber do you wield?
Red. I was red. I had to go with red.
What exactly does that mean, red? You were on the bad side?
Kind of. The way
Were there any good people that ever carried? Were there any good Jedis that carried red?
Yes. That carried red? No.
I think so. I very much dueled like Count Dooku, and I would consider him to be someone who had a red saber but wasn't a bad guy.
What was the robot that carried like 18 of them?
Oh, General Grievous.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
We had that for a boss fight once.
Okay.
So during tournaments, we would have a boss fight where someone has to like fight as a Star Wars character. So the way we replicated that was someone was just on another person's back. And so that's how we were doing.
Tournaments, was that you all just fighting each other? Or are there other colleges that had lightsaber teams?
We were all just doing this like through the college. There was one other college that had any like lightsaber dueling. Cool. And then we later found out there was like a lightsaber dueling of the villages.
What?
Which like we could have done something, but my advisor was like, okay, it's probably not a good idea for these students to beat up some old people with lightsabers.
Right, that's frowned upon.
Yeah. Or a really good idea. I mean, it sounds good. It sounds pretty neat.
Yeah.
What I want to know, did you guys ever just like randomly go to a spot and kind of all like walk out whistling? And then have everybody just like go into a full-on brawl like all at the same time?
No, but we've had like cops pull up on us a couple of times, which is hilarious because both times cops have pulled up, they've been more interested in joining rather than stopping.
That's the way it should be. Yeah, that's the way it should be.
So we've given the cops like lightsabers, and it was great.
So you're going to go to Louisiana,
yeah,
and work on your graduate master's degree. What do you think the next thing is from there? Are you going to finish it out and you're going to get a doctorate, or are you going to stay there and just go straight to teaching? What do you want to do?
So I aspire for a PhD.
You want to be Charles? You want to be Dr. Charles Dion?
I think Dr. Dion sounds too cool.
It really does. Yeah.
I could be Dr. D. That sounds pretty cool. That sounds pretty cool. I do aspire for a PhD because I want to go and teach at the higher ed. I want to teach at higher ed. I think that's where I had the most impact myself, because that's when I realized that I didn't hate education. I hated the way I was being educated. Mm-hmm. And so that's where I think I can make the most of an impact. And so I want to go and get my PhD after my master's.
You have an idea where you'd want to teach? Like, if you had a dream spot to go teach, you have an idea where that would be?
I mean, we were talking about the other day that, it's really just Clemson, University of Georgia, and Southeastern Louisiana that we're doing crocodilian work. But I can't say I'm overly too picky, especially at that point, whatever offer I get would be nice, but I'd be really, really upset if I had to leave the South. I've grown fond of it, so somewhere in the South would be nice.
Okay. Guys, any questions? Bill, as a lifelong educator, you got any advice to share with him?
No.
No, definitely not.
No. Good luck.
Thank you.
It's a little bit different the next level, though, right?
Oh, yeah. No. At the college level, yeah. I mean, you get to set your own agenda and
you kind of make your own standards at that point?
I think so. I don't know. I've never taught at the university level. I have no idea. I do not know.
I always call Bill my professor.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah, he does.
He was.
Yeah, he does.
He does.
He was. He was my professor. That's true. Charles, we really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us. Excited to see what's next for you.
Yeah.
And very proud of you, buddy. It's awesome stuff.
I have one follow-up question.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
You've been very honest about how you've navigated all this on the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
For students that are listening to this that learn in different ways like you did, those of us with ADHD, those of us on the spectrum, what advice do you have for them?
People are going to try and tell you what you can and can't do, right? I myself was told at the age of 3 that I'd never say a full sentence in my life. Evidently, that's not true, right? If it was, this podcast would be rather different.
Be pretty quick.
It would be.
Yeah.
It would be. People are going to tell you what you can and cannot do. People are going to put labels on you, expectations and limits. And it is imperative that you just don't listen, right? You are the dictator of your own destiny. And so for those with learning differences and people who just have different struggles, make your own way. Show your determination and your resolve, and don't let other people get in the way of that. Just find people who will support you. And that was my mom, and so family and friends are a big help. Yeah, my answer.
It's amazing.
I have a question on top of that one.
Yeah.
Before we end this, as someone who actually took the time when you were finishing your undergraduate degree and started really digging into the steps and the process of getting to the next level, what could you share with that as a student that has actually figured it out now and is going to the next level about someone who's looking to jump into a graduate degree? Where should they start at? What worked for you?
Yeah, I would advise taking your time, right? And if I heard that, admittedly, when I was in my junior and senior year, I would not have been fond of that. But if I went the avenue that I was originally going to go down, I would not be in the position as fortunate as I am now. So take your time, contact people. I had a lot of success in requesting informative interviews from people. And I really got to know the people who are making a difference in that field. And I think that's the best way to feel out if this is for you. I was able to determine pretty quickly, especially at PARMS, that these are my people, this is what I want. And that was only through those informative interviews and taking my time and not rushing and making a decision.
That's pretty awesome advice.
Thank you.
Pretty awesome advice. All right, guys, you ready to wrap it up for the afternoon?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in to the EEARSS podcast produced by Terrier TV here at Titusville High School. If you'd like to learn more about EEARSS, you can go over to EEARSS.org.com or AlligatorRobb.com. May 23rd. Put it in your brain. May 23rd, we are going to be having a huge event in Cocoa Village from 4 to 10 p.m. in the amphitheater. Awesome event. We have 22 food trucks. We do not have 22 food trucks. No, in my garage. We have 9 food trucks, 22 nonprofit vendors. They're going to be there talking about all the work they're doing, things they're working on here in Central Florida and the Space Coast. 4 amazing bands being highlighted by Joe Lasher and Molly Levette from Nashville. Awesome afternoon. Go over to EEARSS, learn more about them, the stuff they're doing, and go over to EEARSS to the Environment EcoFest on Facebook. Say you're going. Look at the stuff. Look at the sponsors. Look at the things going on. It's going to be an awesome event. It's free. Come out and enjoy it. We hope to see you there. Catch you all next week. Bye-bye.